Before we get to Twitch Sexist and Favoritism, hashtag Twitch Respond by Jidion, we're going to watch a short video that sparked this original video that Jidion is kind of riding on a little bit by a big YouTuber whose name is CoryxKenshin. For those of you who don't know, CoryxKenshin is a black content creator. He's a black YouTuber. He's pretty big. He's got 14.1 million subscribers. And his latest video, which was trending, which was #1 on trending, and then last night it was #3, now it's number 32 on trending, which accrued more than 5 million views over the course of 2 days, is about YouTube, racism, and favoritism. CoryxKenshin makes, from what I understand, YouTube Let's Play videos. That's what YouTubers call video game streams. And he seems like a cool dude. He made this video after he did a Let's Play video on Mortuary Assistant. I want to play it as well. It's very scary from what I understand. It's right up my alley. One thing I have to mention before we even move on to anything else is that from what I understand, Cory is so family friendly that he goes above and beyond what other content creators on YouTube aren't even doing, where he even will bleep out curse words in the game itself. He is very family friendly. Yeah, someone in the chat said, I let my 13-year-old watch him. Exactly. What ended up happening, and I'm going to actually show you this video because it explains it perfectly.
I'm going to try.
But what ended up happening is that he made this video called YouTube, Racism, and Favoritism.
YouTube, you guys either play favorites, you are racist, or it's a mix of the two. These are the 3 options, YouTube. Which one is it? Here's my proof. August 18th, I uploaded The Mortuary Assistant. A lot of you would know it got age restricted because the following video I did, I let you guys know it got age restricted. YouTube didn't tell me why. I saw that all these other YouTubers were playing The Mortuary Assistant and only my video seemed to be age restricted. And I looked for like an hour, 2 hours. I was scrolling all different types of people's video. No one else's was age restricted. So I appealed the restriction. Hey guys, I'm not sure why mine got age restricted. Could you look into this? Typical. Appeal rejected.
Classic.
They doubled down. The policy team said, no, Cory, your video is restricted for good reason. We're not going to tell you why, but it's restricted. That's our final decision.
Classic.
I said, My YouTube rep, who isn't on the policy team, he looked at my video and he said, hey, it could possibly be this part at the end where the woman was battling some depression, and I'm just going to leave it there, lest this video also get age.
There was a depiction of suicide, from what I understand, in the Mortuary Assistant game. This is an understandable piece of content that YouTube would 100% age restrict. It's one of those things. If you know anything about these platforms and the terms of service, you know that they're very vague, and they're very vague on purpose, so you can have some leniency for certain content creators. Contextually speaking, banning free speech is a very difficult endeavor, something I talk about all the time. Having said that, before you move on to Logan Paul, and before you move on to anything else, I don't know every single video that he went through to see if the depiction of suicide was in all of those other videos that he's referencing. It would be an important thing, but there is more to this. That would be important to find out. But there's more to this because there was at least one person that he found that was a sizable content creator that had not been age restricted despite having that exact same scene.
The first thing I did was try to find other YouTubers who had that part, or at least a part similar. Now, Markiplier, I don't know if you'll ever see this, but I just want you to know I have a lot of respect for you, and I didn't mean to drag you into the middle of this. Your channel just happens to be a great reference point because A, you're a really big YouTuber, and B, you're not black. So I can look at your channel, and then I can look at my channel or look at anyone else's channel and make sure that the things in the games that you play, that they're enforcing the rules equally to everybody. So I go to Markiplier's Mortuary Assistant Part 3, and he had the same situation going on, and his video wasn't age restricted. So I send the video to my YouTube rep. I say, hey, Markiplier has this situation in his video, but his isn't age restricted. Could you say?
Markiplier always gets dragged into YouTube moderation controversies. Now, I don't know enough about Markiplier to speak on this, but I have talked to other YouTubers. I've talked to other people about this. The reason why Markiplier gets dragged into it is because YouTube is favoritist. They do apply favoritism to their content creators. Markiplier is an unproblematic YouTuber who does Let's Play video gaming videos, and he's huge. One of the largest YouTubers on the fucking face of this planet. So because of that reason, And because he's unproblematic and otherwise a good person overall, YouTube, of course, is perfectly fine with having someone like Markiplier be their favorite content creator. He is the perfect poster boy for YouTube. And there's nothing wrong with that, for the record. It's not his fucking fault. Markiplier isn't family friendly. There's cursing and everything. He's just never said the N-word in general. Yes. And this is actually the larger point that I want to make. You've arrived at the correct point, chatter. Because Markiplier is white and doesn't say the N-word, the bar is super fucking low for white content creators in becoming the face of YouTube, because there's plenty of other large YouTube content creators who are white who have said the N-word. That's the point. However, in this circumstance, the question that Cory poses is racism also a factor? He mentions certain things, especially after he gets upset. He has a certain set of questions which I think are pretty adequate, especially because YouTube goes, sorry, we fucked up, which pisses him off further.
And they removed it. Now, my YouTube rep, he was excited. He was, oh, great, this is awesome. Look, Cory, they took the age restriction off. I said, why? I expected them to triple down and give Markiplier an age restriction too. But they looked at Mark's video and they used that to verify my innocence. So I send my YouTube rep a lengthy email detailing my feelings about the entire situation, feeling like there was some favoritism at play. There was either that or some racism at play, and that I would like to sit down with the policy team and figure out why my video was flagged in the first place. Actually, number one, was it automated or was it a human that age restricted it in the first place? Number two, who was the human reviewer? Because it's a human reviewer once you submit an appeal. Who was the human reviewer that doubled down and rejected my appeal? Number three, why did it take Markiplier's clip in order for them to reverse the decision? My YouTube rep gets back with me. He wants to hop on a call. We get on the phone for about 10, 15 minutes, and I tell him, I've been feeling like this for a long time. I've been feeling like every single time that I come back to YouTube, I'm #1 trending for a few days, and then they find some arbitrary issue. They nitpick and they try and find something that they can incriminate me for and try to push me down. You don't believe?
Okay, so this part was really interesting for me, and this is something I asked questions about further with other content creators who are very deeply knowledgeable on YouTube. One of the things I asked was the #1 trending situation. The trending tab, as we all know, used to be, way back in the day, just whichever YouTube video had the most views. That changed relatively quickly, but now the trending tab is a mixture of like whichever YouTube videos are popping, but also there is a manual control over what gets put on the trending tab. Now, if YouTube, there is a human component to it, right? If YouTube did not want him to actually thrive or succeed, they probably wouldn't allow any videos of his to ever make it on the trending tab. Like if that was their ultimate goal. I think YouTube also likes showcasing diversity as long as it's not like, you know, the face of the company, but always loves beefing up diversity initiatives, making it seem like they care about the LGBT community, making it seem like they care about their black content creators or brown content creators. That's certainly something that YouTube wants to present themselves as doing. It's marketing for the most part, but YouTube undoubtedly has to do that now, partially because everybody does it. But the other reason why they have to do it is because YouTube undoubtedly was racist and still is incredibly racist in its content moderation. It's just the fucking truth. What do I mean by this? Because I know that I even after talking to some people like Ludwig, for example, there was a side of YouTube that they had not even thought about. A side of YouTube that I'm from, that I actually grew up in, basically. Political YouTube. The largest consistent content creators on YouTube aren't necessarily iShowSpeed that have been around for a very long time, way before iShowSpeed even existed. The largest live streamers on YouTube are not people like Dr. Disrespect. They're people like Steven Crowder, very famously recreated the George Floyd execution. Well, didn't actually recreate it because he was too much of a pussy to do so. And Tim Pool, who was, the classic 50-state landslide Donald Trump's going to win guy. And Ben Shapiro. And before that, Joe Rogan. These are guys that blew the fuck up over the course of the past 10 years, alongside YouTube gaining more prominence. YouTube did not do anything deal with not only these guys, but also all of the Gamergate adjacent content creators, all the neck-bearded, quartering style, Sargon of Akkad, and even way worse, literal fucking Nazis on their platform. And they knew about it. They knew that this was happening on their platform. They let it thrive. They did not try to tweak the algorithm. They did not try to stop it. They didn't try to do anything. Do you want to know why I know that? Because I was working with YouTube and Google at the time when I was at the Young Turks. And every time I interacted with any Google employee or any YouTube employee, this was the number one thing I brought up. It was such a gigantic problem for the past fucking 10 years almost on YouTube that I brought it up all the fucking time. Now, things have gotten better. You no longer have like overt, openly Nazi content creators gain prominence. They still have their accounts and whatnot, but it is never, it's not as powerful or as prescient or as popular as it used to be, but there was a time and place where YouTube had a alt-right rabbit hole. Could very easily fall down it. Some of you in this community probably fell down it back in the day in the Gamergate era. That era of YouTube makes what you see with Andrew Tate look laughable. That era of YouTube might have played a fundamental role in the Unite the Right rally, having as many people in attendance as it did. A platform that is not racist would 1,000,000% turn around and deal with that shit immediately. But YouTube turned a blind eye to it because it was growing as a platform and it wanted to keep growing as a platform. And for that reason, they didn't care enough. That negligence is still racist. When you have that level of awesome power and you don't do anything about it and you abdicate your responsibility, that's it. You're not doing a good job. You are still participating in racist outcomes. For those reasons, for not adequately applying their terms of service, which already existed, YouTube was behaving in a racist way.
So my YouTube rep assures me he's going to continue this dialogue with the policy team and try to get some answers to those 3 questions that I had. So another day, another 2 days go by, and what do you know? They re-age restricted the video. I say, no way did they do that. I go to Markiplier's video now, and now his video is age restricted. They got caught with their pants down. They got called out, and then they had to go back and say, oh, whoa. Okay, we see the narrative that he's kind of pushing here. We need to take some steps back. We need to just age restrict them both and be done with it. You thought that I wasn't gonna talk about this, make a video about it? You realize how bad this looks for you, YouTube. Why is my channel so much more heavily scrutinized than my peers? My peers, and when I say peers, I mean people around my level, around my view count. Just to keep it simple, why is my channel so much more thoroughly scrutinized? Especially so when I've been #1 trending multiple days in a row, which I've done multiple times. And every single time I start to get an uptick in traction, an uptick in activity, here comes YouTube coming through. Hey, let's get him for that video from 2019. Yeah, you see this, Cory? Now, I realize that when you call someone a racist, that's a very, very serious accusation. And for that matter, how do you expressly prove that someone is a racist? I mean, unless they're spamming the N-word in the chat. But I can tell you the people on that policy team, those shadow people that are anonymous and get to enact their will however they see fit. How can we be sure that they take a black person's video and a white person's video, and it can be the same exact video, and they restrict the black person's video, but not the white person's video? I feel I've been mistreated for a long time. I mean, even when we hit 10 million subscribers, and I was supposed to get my diamond play button, and there was no correspondence. These situations always coincide with an uptick of growth, and it always just comes off like, we can't let this black guy get too high up. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm telling you, that's how it comes off.
Here's one thing I will say about this. I already think YouTube definitely turned a blind eye to racism, which is racist in and of itself. You can only do that if you don't give a shit because you don't care about the lasting impact that white supremacy running rampant on your platform will have. However, in this circumstance, I think YouTube is more so on the side of favoritism. And with respect to the delicate matter of handling a very prominent black content creator's channel, I don't think that they provide the adequate measures that they probably should be. If you truly do want to address address specific biases. One thing that you have to do in a situation like this is understand that if you're a black content creator on a platform where there's a lot of fucking racist teenagers on, you have to understand that like every single time he uploads, there is going to be a much larger wave of people that are reporting his channel. There is going to be a much larger wave of people that are probably going to look to take him down. I don't think it's YouTube itself that sees that he's popping off and decide we got to take him down a peg. Because if that was the case, they wouldn't put him on the trending tab to begin with. Remember, because the trending tab is, to a certain degree, manually controlled. So I think what a lot of moderation teams don't understand is that when you are a controversial figure like me, even though I am white, or a black figure, which is unfortunately in an otherwise racist environment considered to be controversial when it's not, there is a significant, there's a very delicate way of dealing with those affairs. And I think when you don't have enough black people in your moderation team, or when you don't listen to black content creators that are getting unfairly targeted, then you don't create an adequate response mechanism to dealing with the sea of ridiculous and unfair reports that black content creators get. Okay? That is a lighter form of racism. It's just like negligence, a systematic blind spot that many corporations have. So that's where I think this problem comes from. I don't think it's YouTube like purposely moving chess pieces around in this nefarious way, but white supremacy is insidious. It is such a core, such a fundamental part of American existence that people don't even recognize when they are behaving in a manner that is consistent with white supremacy. It's very difficult to tackle. That's what I think in this situation. But I do hope that he keeps uploading his videos. I think he's doing. I mean, seems great. Andreas Streeter says, my favorite take on this type of thing is that white entertainers are allowed to be unique and break molds, but black entertainers are expected, knowingly or unknowingly, fit a small range of preconceived archetypes. Yes. Which in a weird way kind of also falls in line with this video. A black content creator by the name of Jidion, who does do a lot of content that falls in line with what other white content creators have done time and time again. Now, do I think this is like a little bit trolly? I do. Well, I agree with what CoryxKenshin's take was with respect to YouTube to a certain degree, even though I do think it's more so favoritism in this situation. I think the real reason why Jidion is permanently banned from Twitch is not necessarily because of the harassment campaign that he led towards Pokimane, who he apologized for and they made up for it. And I do respect him for that. I think he did a really good job with that. I think his audience also understands that it was wrong. I mean, he then turned around and did the TwitchCon EU video, and I think that's the reason why he will probably not get unbanned. But let's hear what he has to say.
You see the title, Twitch, Sexist and Favoritism. That's a very, very bold claim to make, Jidion. Calling someone sexist. I was streaming. We were having a W stream. We were having fun, watching videos, and my editor, he sends me a list of videos to react to, right? I'm going down the list and I see that he sends me a Twitter link. And I'm like, bro, how am I gonna react to this? This is something on Twitter. But something just told me, click on it. So I click on it and I read the headline. Girl has sexual relations live on stream. I couldn't believe it. You could actually see everything that was happening. So I quote tweeted it and I said, and I'm still banned? A little jab at Twitch, but a joke nonetheless, because I was like, they at least had to give her a month to a permaban. I mean, this is huge. That's basically showing corn, I said corn, to underage kids, right? That's Twitch doing that. So I'm going on with my stream, my chat spamming, yo, she's live on TikTok, she's live on TikTok, she's live on TikTok. So I join in her TikTok live. Then I ask her the $1 million question. I know why, but like, how long are you banned for?
7 days.
What the? 7 days.
To be fair, she might not know that she's only banned for 7 days. She might actually now have a permaban, for the record. Also, we know that Twitch is usually way less upset at sexually explicit content, at least by judging by past bans and how long those bans are, than they are for mass harassment, brigading, sexism, rampant sexism, not like sexism of like my kind of sexism, like a little bit of sexism here and there, you know, like ironically saying misogynistic things, but like straight up sexism or racism. There are other forms of bigotry, and bigotry itself in general is something that Twitch takes very seriously. And when I say very seriously, I mean much more seriously than every other fucking platform that I've been on, and I've been on every platform. platform. I've been on Instagram. I have an Instagram. I've been on TikTok. I've been on YouTube for a very long time, and even Facebook. And out of all those platforms, the one platform that actually still has, of course, a vague terms of service, but the one platform that actually legitimately cares about its terms of service to a degree where like they will genuinely clap people's ass cheeks pretty aggressively is Twitch. Having said that, I think that Twitch doesn't care about sexually explicit content to the same degree as they do about bigotry or brigading, which is understandable. I think that that's a decent metric to have. I don't care about the sexually explicit content either, like straight up, as much as I care about bigotry, I mean.
Now, I don't know the reason why this girl was banned. What I do know is she was banned for a month. The thing with Twitch is it doesn't matter if you do stuff on their platform. If you do stuff anywhere else, they could still ban you. So this girl, she was banned on Twitch. So she went on Twitter and said, I want to myself and shoot people at Twitch HQ. Ha 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 ha. This is a terrorist threat, threatening to shoot people at Twitch HQ, right? They extend her ban, obviously, to a perma. She wrote
that'll show her. I don't know anything about that particular instance, but like judging by that fucking tweet itself, I think that's just more so a person going through like a mental breakdown or some shit. Probably not like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we reviewed your appeal and extended the punishment. That seems fucking nuts, dude.
an apology letter to Twitch, and this is Twitch's response. After reviewing your case, we confirm that the correct enforcement was issued. However, given the details of your case, including the remorse expressed in your appeal, we have decided to reduce your suspension duration. Your suspension has been adjusted to expire in 22 calendar days, so a little bit less than a month. Literally threatening to harm the people at Twitch HQ. If you write a good enough apology letter, you know what? Just be banned for a month. You'll be all good.
Wait, but that's kind of the point, right? Like the point was that like they actually probably clarified their circumstances. Doesn't that kind of show you that like if you did a similar thing, Twitch might actually understand and have a more open mind to just, you know, unbanning you eventually? I mean, look, here's the unwritten rule. If you get banned, and I've gotten banned a lot, you get fucking banned, you're not supposed to go out and be like, this is why I got banned and fuck Twitch. As rule number one. If you do that, they're not gonna fucking lower your ban term, okay? They're not gonna lower your ban. They might even add more to your ban, okay? Sometimes they get petty. I am too fucking proud and I have too much pride. So every time I get banned, I go, fuck Twitch. I got fucking banned and fuck you for banning me for this. Like the Cracker Gate, okay? So I still fucking freak out. Luckily, they didn't, you know, increase my ban last time that happened. But I just know that like if you shut the fuck up and if you say, oh, I'm sorry, then you know they're pretty understanding. But I think that because he did actually apologize, and I don't know what his like communication with Twitch looked like, but because he did actually apologize to Pokimane and got that sorted out, I did genuinely think that he had a pathway towards getting unbanned until he did the TwitchCon EU thing. I feel like he made this after CoryxKenshin's video on YouTube Racism got lots of views. No, I know. That's why I'm saying, no, I think that's why he did that for sure. He's kind of like launching off of that, using that as a launching pad.
A female Twitch streamer literally showed her.
Also, accidentally flashing your cooter or having like a nip slip or anything like that is of course different than like straight up fucking on camera or like fucking on the edge of the camera on secret. That is crazy. Obviously that is ban worthy. I am not saying that that's not ban worthy. There is no planet in which like you do something like that and you get away with it. That's fucking crazy.
Her genitalia on stream. Straight up showed her genitalia on purpose. And guess what happened? 3-day ban. 3 days. I mean,
this literally, again, this showcases Twitch does not view sexually explicit content in the same way that it views bigotry or raids, right? That's it. I mean, this will work really well for an audience that's like ready to fucking be like, yeah, Twitch is being sexist by doing favoritism to women or whatever the fuck. But like, they just don't see that in the same way. They see it as like ban worthy, but not so much that unless you're consistently doing it, unless you're like consistently pushing the boundaries to a degree where like you're doing it on purpose, you're ban baiting, they're just not gonna fucking clap you for a super, super long period of time.
Twitch. There can be a terms of service for girls and then a terms of service for boys. Secondly,
dude, he's literally, oh, come on, bro. He's using like a trending subject to flip the narrative over to say like there's favoritism towards women on Twitch. Like there's a different TOS for women and there's a different TOS for men. I mean, there is. I can show titty right now. Women can't. So technically it is true, but it's not in the way that he thinks it is.
example, look at Dr. Disrespect. We still don't know till this day why he's banned. Example number 3, my friend Kai, a black creator over on Twitch. Kai Cenat is the largest and fastest growing streamer on Twitch.
True.
Twitch hasn't acknowledged him on Twitter, on any of their social medias.
True.
Twitch hasn't ever reached out to him. Twitch hasn't even thrown my boy a bone or anything, offered him a contract, trying to look out for him, saying congratulations, nothing. But in January, he said, why are you guys acting like monkeys on his stream? A black man, perhaps, wasn't even using the word monkey in a racist or derogatory way.
Wow, Jidion doesn't bring up that I got banned for the C word. That's fucked up. See, now that's fucked up. Also, none of these things are related, but it doesn't matter.
Said monkey got banned for a month.
That shit's crazy.
A month. But we have people threatening to go shoot up your HQ, but they get a little bit under a month, though. It's okay.
This is just starting to sound like manosphere shit. No. Forget the fucking sexism side of the conversation, which I think undermines his other point that would have more validity, which is that Twitch as a platform is otherwise pretty good at maintaining a terms of service. It goes too far sometimes. It's still inconsistent. It's still much, much better than all these other fucking platforms, though. I will stand by that as someone who's been banned more fucking times than most of these people. Twitch has been a very white platform for a very long time. That's just the truth. That's changing. And that's a wonderful thing. That's a wonderful thing. There are content creators on this platform that serve a predominantly black audience now that get 60,000 live viewers. That's fucking awesome. And because of that reason, because that it is a largely white audience that they have served up until this very moment, I think that similar issues are happening within Twitch as they are within YouTube as well. Who? Kai Cenat, Your Rage Gaming, and Bruce Dropamoff. These are all dudes that are getting gigantic platforms now. Y'all are wild seeing this and thinking Jidion is making any other point than memeing and trying to get you to watch this on stream. The person making a point here is HasanAbi taking the opportunity to talk about the greater internet space and its relation to black content creators. Yes, that's my goal. I'm using this as a launching pad to make a larger argument because yes, I don't think that Jidion is being like super serious here. Maybe he is. Maybe he's going to get mad at me and say I'm a liberal racist again and then agree with fucking Keemstar. But having said that, I do think that he's just like kind of riding the wave, making content, adding on an additional layer of like sexism that Twitch has or sexist policies that Twitch has, which I think is ridiculous. I don't think that that's how it works. He's 100% serious. Okay, well, I don't agree with him. Okay, no way you just said this video is not serious. I think his take about racism, or I think his take about like black content creators not getting a lot of large black content creators not getting a lot of love from Twitch, I do agree with. That part I do agree with. And I think that's because the black Twitch space is in its infancy and it's growing and it's exploding in popularity. And that's part of the reason. But in a weird way, because it's a San Francisco tech company, just like YouTube is, just like Google is, these companies don't have the adequate ways of dealing with this kind of popularity and the delicate way in which you need to try to combat moderation, additional scrutiny that like black content creators will get, as a matter of fact. It hasn't really happened on Twitch because Twitch is so insulated that I think that black Twitch and the rest of Twitch is almost separate, two separate entities basically, so that like the racist white people that are up my asshole all the goddamn time, for example, because I'm a leftist content creator, haven't even like reached that side of Twitch yet to be like, oh, fuck these guys, let's mass report and like do the same shit. But when they inevitably do, and they will inevitably do it, then Twitch needs to take additional measures to ensure that they don't get falsely banned for every little thing. Because let's be real, there are content violations within the terms of service that happen on every stream, especially when you're live for 8 to fucking 12 hours a day. It happens all the fucking time. It's a regular routine part of the process, and moderation teams need to figure out what is genuine and what is just people making fake noise. Artificial manufactured outrage versus genuine infractions that are worthy of a ban. It's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. God damn it. If he hadn't fucking done the thinking in the TwitchCon EU video, like he could have had such a better argument. Like if he had not done that, he could have had such a better argument to be like, it's inconsistent and it's ridiculous that I'm still banned on Twitch after I literally, like he could have done this. Are you ready? Here's what I would do if I was Jidion. Plug my channel, obviously, and tell everybody to go like and subscribe, you know, Jidion, okay, use the ongoing conversation around like whether YouTube is racist or not. And then I would say something along the lines of, well, first of all, I would not have done the TwitchCon EU video. And then I would have said something along the lines of, America has suffered far too long in the hands of white supremacy. And in an effort to lower the recidivism rate, we must hold on to an empathetic approach to both criminal justice and punishment in every facet of our lives. One of those empathetic perspectives should be about rehabilitation. I did something that was wrong when I did the harassment campaign against Pokimane. I owned up to it. I'm young. I still make a lot of mistakes. I will continue making a lot of mistakes. And I owned up to those mistakes. And I thought that that was fucked up. Rehabilitation and owning up to your mistakes. A lot of people don't want to do this, but it's a sign of maturity that I did. Jidion, did that. And because I did not go to TwitchCon EU and sneak in, because in this alternative reality, he didn't do that. I didn't do that. I think that it is unacceptable that regardless of making amends with the person, regardless of owning up to my mistake, Twitch has still refused to unban me. I think that that is unacceptable. I think that at a time when and then I would bring up other examples of the hate raids that have happened. I would turn around and bring that up and say, look, these are delicate matters. These are difficult to deal with. Content creation is hard. Content moderation is even harder. There's a lot of nuance and a lot of context that needs to be applied in this circumstance. For that reason, I want to put my best foot forward, and I believe that I should be unbanned. That's what I would have done in this situation. I think you're laboring under the misapprehension that Jidion is arguing in good faith. I honestly don't believe that. And I don't think this is, I think tying it to sexism is just silly. Does that make sense? I hope you guys understand. I don't think Jidion's now definitely permanent ban is Twitch being racist or covering for women more or something. But I do think that in other circumstances, I don't know. If it was like a white prankster, you know what I mean? If it was like a white, large prank content creator that came on Twitch and did similar things, go after Pokimane like that, and then apologize and make amends, do I think that Twitch would unban them? Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, now here's the thing, and this is actually the controversial part. I do think that there is a double standard. And I think the double standard is not necessarily in just moderation, but in the way that everyone views black content creators. And that double standard comes from prankster style, fucking cringy, annoying YouTubers and content creators of every variety. But I do think that when you are a cisgender, heterosexual, black man doing that exact same thing, I do think that you are under an additional lens of scrutiny. That's it. That's my hot take. I think that the way we understand, like, especially white pranksters and white content creators that do like crazy stuff, like they often have a much higher bar until they're like permanently fucking banned, cast aside, and they can still make a fucking comeback. Sam Pepper's a great example of this. Half the fucking YouTubers that were pranksters and shit were like doing mass rapes and shit, and they were able to fucking get away with it. Not that that is adequate or acceptable. Do not misunderstand me. Whereas I do feel as though black content creators cannot get that same fucking leeway. Straight up. That's the truth. A lot of white content creators, as a matter of fact, are able to use the cancellation wave and it's not just rape. I'm saying like crazy shit. And not that either. But I use that as an extreme example of like what white content creators have done and still made a comeback over, okay? And the reality is like a lot of white content creators that do like all the crazy stuff can pile on the cancellations as a way to like consistently continue growing. Whereas I do think that black content creators do not get the same level. They do not get the same level of courtesy. They do not get the same level of leniency. I do believe that, okay? Straight up. This does not mean that Jidion is making like the best, most innocent, perfect content. No, I mean, a big part of his content revolves around fucking annoying Best Buy workers, okay? And as you know, I have the highest percentage of Best Buy workers per capita out of any stream, as I've said time and time again. I hate pranksters in general, but you are 100% right. Jidion sucks, but no more than the average prankster YouTuber. Exactly. There is a double standard in the way that I think black content creators are seen in the eyes of not only moderation, but also in general, in the eyes of the public overall, which definitely guides the way moderation looks at certain things. That's it. Jidion's faults in the rest of his content don't necessarily invalidate the good points he made, though. I mean, yeah, but there was also a lot of bad points he made, too, with like the Twitch is being sexist by giving women less harsh sentencing or whatever. That I don't agree with.